Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 232 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one solo queue educational and motivational podcast. Welcome to the 2025 ranked season, the season of Noxus, Red, Death, Destruction. Before, Curtis, we were playing on a little happy map. It was all green, there was trees around. And Charlie, now we've got we're getting serious now, guys. All right. We're playing a little kids game here. We're getting serious. League's getting serious. We're in the season of Noxus. So the season has reset. The title of this video is going to be called, this episode is going to be, we played 34 games on day one of ranked. Now that might be a bit of a clickbait title. That is between the three of us. So in the first 24 hours of the season reset, just to get the stats and get the context of talking about our experiences in these 34 games between us three. I played 16 games. I went 11-5. I'm currently Diamond 2 and 65 LP.
You played 16 games on the first day?
No, sorry. That's
across 2
it's
days.
24 hours period.
Yeah,
so up until
okay.
12 p.m. the next day,
Okay.
right? So yeah, the first day I played 12 games.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a moment, whether that's a good or bad idea.
So you've done the brunt of the work, basically.
I have done a lot of
You've
research
done about
for this
half the
episode.
games. You've almost done as many games as me and Curtis combined.
Curtis has played 11 games, 6-5, Diamond 310 LP. Charlie 11 games as well, 6-5, but Diamond 415 LP because Charlie's MMR is a
MMR diff.
bit worse than Curtis's. So
Makes perfect sense, and it does.
So that's the context, and that's what we're going to be talking about. What our experiences are in the first 24 hours so far. The season's usually quite chaotic with changes. We're going to break it down. Where I want to start with, though, Curtis and Charles, is give the audience a little bit of tips for the new season. Talk people through maybe some narratives, some perceptions. A lot of people are really scared about placements. You have placements anxiety. I've already seen some questions in my Discord.
Yep.
For the Jungle Academy. Remember, it's a marathon, guys. It's not a sprint. I personally love playing a lot. I kept saying that my first couple of days of the season is I'm playing for wins, no improvement.
Yep.
I'm joking. I still do play for improvement. I review and stuff like that. But it's really exciting. New season, new changes. So I just spam games. And then we'll get some serious 3 block in, next week or whatever.
You're doing it consciously, though.
I'm doing it very consciously,
Yeah.
yes.
But me and Curtis both made videos for 80 Carry Academy and Mid Lane Academy about how to approach the early split. And you did the bulk of the work on that, Curtis. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, is echoing what Nathan said about it is a marathon, not a sprint. And now that we don't have the 3 ranked split resets anymore,
Even more of a marathon.
even more of a marathon.
It is. It's a huge marathon.
Something I realized, people freak out about their placements and where they start. Guys, you're not going to see the rank on your little OPGG for 12 months. Think about that. That's crazy. 12
It's a
months.
long time. It's a long time.
That's the-
Especially since there's no preseason as well, right?
Yeah.
Right, so you're literally, it's like one gigantic, basically,
No
race.
one's going to remember where you finished on like day 3 or even week
Dude,
1 or
no
anything.
one listening to this, not even us, will remember in 7 days' time what our first 5 placement games will be like. I
Yeah.
don't remember. Everyone makes it such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's because we're in the moment. So your placements, relax, guys.
And the big one is that the game is going to change so rapidly, right? So, we're going to be covering some of it, Reddit posts saying, oh, this is just broken like crazy and this is terrible and I'm going to quit the game now and I've ruined League forever. And it's like, dude, the game's been out for like a few days. They're testing some new shit, calm down. And so whether your champion feels terrible or whether it feels great or whether there's some OP thing or something is bugged or whatever, relax, take a deep breath, take it as it is. And, understand that there will be changes being made. And literally, we're recording this. We're getting this podcast episode out pretty quickly, right? For a reason, because we know that changes are going to happen very, very swiftly. Over the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of adjustments. So that's very important to understand. And then also say as well, let go of your past rank. That's a big one. Like whatever rank you got last season, last year, no one gives a shit. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's done. It's in the past. What rank you are right now is exactly the rank that, it is what it is.
Yep.
That's it. Your
So
job...
it's literally called a reset.
It's a reset.
Your rank is reset.
And you have to treat it like a hardcore reset
Yes.
to have a reset. And the reality is that, yes, you may be lower. It may take a while to get back to your past rank, but you should never frame it in that way. I got this amount of games to get to my past rank, or I'm X amount of LP to my past rank. You cannot have that belief. You've got to be You got to have the mindset of, okay, the rank I am right now is the rank that I should be. Let's focus on the improvement. What level of play? How am I playing in these games now?
Yeah, because the reason is because if you're trying to get back to the rank you were, you're just playing to win. All you're trying to do is you're saying, okay, I will eventually get there. All I need to do is play games. So then you just play games for the sake of it, just try and get the wins and try and get there as fast as possible. So it literally stops you from improving.
Yep.
If you're trying to get back to your past
you
rank.
stifle all curiosity.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's very, very difficult to take learning from games because you're not in the mindset to learn.
In terms of champion selection, would you guys recommend people the first couple of days of first week to play your mains so you're comfortable, you have a free mental stack, and you're able to learn the game?
Yeah. Mental stack is a hot commodity in the first couple of weeks of a season because there's so much new information coming from every direction with neutral objectives, items, champions, runes, everything, that you need to actually have mental stack to think about that. And if you're thinking about learning a new champion or even like changing much about how you play the game, you can't really intake new information. I've told many people, like, don't learn a champ now, just wait a few weeks and then learn a champion because, like I said, mental stack, we need all of it. We need all we can get at this point of the year.
Yep, and I've actually made that mistake before where you fall into the trap of trying to find the quote-unquote meta, and but the meta's rapidly evolving, so then you're chasing something that basically is just, always changing, and then before you know it, you're playing all these different champions, you have no mastery on, everything feels terrible, and then you're just at rock bottom. And I've fallen for that trap before. It feels terrible, and you're like, you know what? Why didn't I just play my main champion, feel out the patch, get familiar, and then start to get a handle on things?
Another question people will have, the beginning, I need to duo. I got a duo to get through my placements. I heard some comments, especially from the high elo community, saying you can't play early season without duo. I've played solo every single game. All three of us have.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I mean, from an AD carry perspective, I think AD carries love duoing in general, right?
They do.
With supports. But I mean, same as the whole year. Like, we're here to learn. We're here to intake information about the rest of the map, about everything that's happening around you. If you're duoing, you're just viewing the game through this narrow lens of like me and you versus the world. You treat the other three people on your team like shit by default most of the time when you duo. Like, I've been there. I've duoed a lot, and you kind of have that 2v8 mentality, and it stops you from actually learning. Because again, it's that same idea. I'm just going to duo. I'm just going to quickly get back to where I was through the duo, and then I'm going to start playing the game. But it's not a good mentality.
And guys, it's not necessary. Okay, trust me. You can play pretty good League of Legends and win games without duo. All right. Any other advice for people? Some quick tips going into the new season.
I think that my only one is just reps. You got to get in reps. No
play
amount
the game.
Yeah, no amount of reading and watching content.
I pretty much dove in head first.
Nothing's going to prepare you, right? The reality is that you got to feel how impactful, how much damage Atakhan does, or how valuable the stats it gives you. You got to feel the different minion wave changes. You got to feel how TP has changed. You got to feel the XP you get from the petals or whatever they're called, the rose petals. You got to feel this shit, right? No amount of study and watching videos is going to prepare you for this, how the game has changed.
I'm the same as Nathan. I didn't even know. I played the first 7 games, didn't know which Atakhan did which, didn't know when the cannon came, didn't know any of the changes. And then, like, I'm streaming in the Discord, people ask me, like, don't you know this, don't you know that? I'm like, didn't read the patch notes, mate. I'm going to read them, like, tomorrow. And I read a couple of them today in queue. But yeah, you're right. It really doesn't mean much to read it. You don't know what it feels like just by reading it.
You got to feel it.
Yeah. My first 3 games, I didn't even know where the Feats of Strength was. Like, you tab and people were saying, look, I didn't know where it was. I didn't even know what it was. Yeah. And now I love it. We'll talk about it. Let's not get to
I didn't buy, I had Feats of Strength 2 games and I didn't buy Boots 2. I did that in your game, I think. I sat on the brown bags for ages when we had it. Like.
The first thing I want to start with is I saw Mysterious, one of the coaches in the Milan Academy. The first thing before the season started, he went on to a custom game and test the minions, the cannon coming on the 4th wave. So what do you guys as laners, what do you guys think of that so far?
I'll go first, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it changes when you hit level 3, which I guess is the most important thing because you no longer hit level 3 off that first couple of minions of that wave, of the 4th wave, because you don't have the cannon XP. So I think that's the most important thing. I think about, like, in terms of crashing wave, we can get technical and talk about, like, we probably don't want a 3-wave crash anymore. I prefer, like, doing a 2-wave crash into another 2-wave crash. Actually feels quite good. Okay. That's the crab timer now. If you do a 2-wave crash and then a 2-wave crash, that's at around 320, 330, depending on your champion. And then you can access the river. That feels good. But again, I'm only like 12 games in or whatever, so what the fuck do I know? But that's what I'm at currently in my hypothesis. I mean, what's it like for mid?
Yeah, that's exactly what Tim was saying as well. How he's saying how it's better to do 2 stacks into 2 stacks. But for me, it's like, that's what I was kind of doing anyway.
Yeah, you were. I remember that, yeah.
Like, I was obsessed with two-wave cycling anyway. That was kind of my thing. So, yeah, if I'm just going to be brutally honest, that's something I haven't really figured out. I know that there are... what I will say is that minion waves definitely feel easier to clear. Like, I feel as though I can get waves out faster. But the whole... And yes, it does feel quite different to have, you know, the cannon coming every fourth wave. That's quite noticeable. But the reason it's not as pronounced as I thought it would be is because of the changes to getting home guards. How home guards is like you just get it from the start of the game, basically, right? So I guess I can't not talk about this aspect of the game because I think it goes hand in hand with the wave stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, there's a few changes here. We have home guards throughout basically the entirety of the game. You have TP changes and you have the wave changes. Now they all kind of interact with each other. So I'm going to speak through the mid laner's lens. So what happens is TP is weaker in the early lane. It takes longer to get back with the TP. But waves are easier to clear. And on top of that, you get home guards. So a lot of the time, you don't actually need TP in the early lane. It doesn't feel absolutely necessary to have TP. And we're already starting to see it in some of my games. People are starting to experiment with combat summoners. Because I think now TP primarily is really just that, okay, I want that TP for mid-game. I want that empowered TP later on. It's going to allow me to side lane. I can do more creative plays in the mid-game. But it's not now. It feels like you're less tied to TP for the early lane, especially if you're a champion that has solid wave clear. So my prediction is that a lot of champions such as like Talia, you know, TF, basically, even to be honest, we might even see it with a lot of high wave clear assassins like, you know...
Talon, Zed?
Yeah, like a lot of these champions that they could probably get away with going a combat summoner. So we're probably going to see more Ignite, potentially more Ghost, potentially Exhaust in certain particular scenarios, especially as a mid laner. So that's my prediction. I don't know how that's going to play out in the long term, but as it currently stands, that's my 2 cents. And I felt like a lot of these games, even with mages, like, you know, if I'm playing something like Victor, I just don't feel like I need TP to get back to lane, especially if I'm already having a lot of lane control. So that's the first like major thing that really came to my mind.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you think about it intuitively, like a mage shouldn't want teleport. It doesn't make sense, does it, thematically? Like, it makes sense to use teleport as a flanking tool or like a tool to get split pushing, but like the fact that Orianas and stuff take TP is a bit weird. Like, well, it suits more to take barrier or heal or something.
Well, it's actually that's actually a really good comment, because basically the way I view it, right, is that TP on a mage serves 2 functions. The first is that it's usually used in the early lane to come back, get tempo, establish control, that sort of thing. And without it, sometimes you would often just go down farm if you didn't take it, right? They took it and you didn't, you'd be kind of go down a little bit of XP. And every bit of XP matters. But secondly, as the game got into mid-game, you'd kind of use it as like a band-aid mechanism where it's like, you know what? I can't side lane. I'm just gonna catch this side lane really, you know, quickly, and then I'm just gonna TP to the fight because I can't really side lane. So it objectively is very helpful to have TP as a mage. Not in the most traditional sense that I'm TP flanking or anything, but because I can't get pressure in the side, it allows me to catch waves while not being too late to fights. So, look, not having TP as a mage is still gonna face challenges. In the mid game, but I think again there are going to be particular compositions, maybe particular matchups where your combat spells probably will come back. So it'd be interesting to see.
Interesting. Anything else about the minion?
Yeah, something I've noticed is like if you base before your opponent, they have longer. Sorry, it's easier for them to push the next wave and deny under your tower. And weird stuff like I dip into the river after pushing a wave to place a ward, and I look back to my lane and I've been denied minions that last split I wouldn't have been denied because the creeps are just dying so fast because the creeps are doing so much more damage, right? So I think like just recalibrating how fast minions die.
That's actually a really good point. There's actually been a few times now that you mentioned that where I've like hovered for a plate and they're already on my tower.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
And I thought that was like, I didn't actually, because I completely forgot how putting those two things together. I thought that maybe I just overstayed, but no, that it does feel, the timing there does feel different. But I will say, just tying back to the initial waves, like how's it going to change lane strategy? I'm too early on to fully know that. So I need to get more reps in to fully wrap my head around how the waves are going to impact early lanes. Last thing is that people have vocalized in my Discord, they found it awkward to last hit because the the tankiness and everything's just changed, and like there's a lot of muscle memory built for people. AJ even commented that in his first few games. He's like, oh yeah, I felt a noticeable difference in the damage output of minions. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that. Maybe I'm bad at last
I
hitting.
didn't feel that either. Yeah,
I'm either very bad or very good at last hitting because I don't know. I didn't feel that.
One or the other. But yeah, I didn't feel it either. But some people have vocalized that.
In terms of recalibrating, teleport's been really funny for me. There was some team fights in the mid game where, you know, you have this sense of when the TP is going to, and you want to perfectly sort of time it. Like, let's say like a Yone's TPing in. Yep. Okay, we're going to go for the R. I went like 3-4 seconds too early. Yeah. It's like, when's this guy coming? It was so late and we just got wiped. Yeah. It was really uncomfortable. I was like, takes ages.
Yeah,
like,
from my perspective, if someone TPs to my lane, I could just run. I'm already at my T2 tower before they arrive. Like, I'm gone, you know?
It's a long time.
It's really interesting.
Time.
One more thing on the minions, right? So this might actually be the most impactful thing, and it's the XP range. And this is something that you probably didn't feel in mid lane, but in a long lane, if you're in a situation where the enemy is slow building into you, or if the enemy are holding a freeze, or if your support's roaming or something, you can get zoned from XP quite easily. I've actually legitimately noticed the XP range change because it's gone from 1400 to 1500. I don't know what that means in the game, but it's a bit longer. And I've had situations already where I would have been zoned in the past, but I can actually step a little bit further and sap XP, and it feels so good. Like, I'm respecting the slow push while getting XP, and that's an incredible thing to be able to do.
That. Yeah,
exactly.
That's game changing.
It's really game changing. So I want to monitor how that goes. Maybe the enemy bot lanes just aren't aware yet, and they're going to now push up a bit further to zone you. But at the moment, I feel like maybe give this a try, everyone. Like, you can literally sap more XP than you think, and still stay safe.
I guess you could test that in a practice tool. What's the range of experience the minions dying, right?
Yeah, it's more of a feeling. I guess maybe you can get that feeling in practice tool, but I mean, yeah, just kind of test it out. See what it looks. Just watch that little purple bar in the corner and stand as far away as you can and see if it goes up. Because I feel like, yeah, the range is quite large. I think it's too large.
All right, I want to move on to talking about feats of strength. All right, now I'm a jungler. I've been having a blast.
As a Rek'Sai player.
As a Rek'Sai player. As a champion. A Rek'Sai Jarvan, Elise is sort of my pool at the moment. So I love the early game junglers. I mean, I might be having a blast because I have like a 75% win rate right now. I'm winning like every game. But
so let's draw some conclusions based on these wins, Nathan.
Already. First 16 games. So so once I figured out the feats of strength where it was, I was tabbing and looking at it. They got an objective. They got first blood. I'm so excited at feats of strength, like as like an objective. So, let's first talk about the first blood aspects. Now this has a lot of the community has been actually quite upset about this. They think it's going to change a lot how the game is played. Let's say from a jungle's perspective. Okay, so there's two aspects of it. The first one is I feel like it's just too RNG in solo queue. Like, let's say if you're a top laner, you know, think about the odds of you getting first blood. I mean, unless you play a certain type of, maybe you're playing, you know, Flash Ignite, you're playing Renekton or Urgot or whatever it is, and you can go for that first blood, you have more control. But people are a bit uncomfortable that it feels too RNG. And then maybe it's too much in the jungler's hand. And other people are also saying that junglers, it's just going to go to like, just gank level 2. You get like literally send it for the
It's so interesting.
Which is obviously a very rigid way of viewing the game.
I've heard of invades, by the way. I've heard level 1 invades are just going to be a thing to try and get that first blood.
To try and get first blood, that could be a thing. I actually didn't think about that. I'm thinking about the lane phase stuff, but yeah, got people going for the invades a bit more. Now, the couple of things here is that what we know about League currently and solo queue from, you know, the years that I've been playing, invades, we talk about consistency. Like, invades can be very flip. People can stack. People will start stacking. That's not, like, 5 point is relax. Let's just relax and let's just win the game in the big game, right? The other aspect of it is that if I'm an Udyr level 2 ganking, that is not going to work, guys. You know? So maybe there's a whole meta of like Xin Zhao, Jarvan, like Elise, but the reality is that if you level 2 gank in League of Legends nowadays, you will get punished. You can get punished really hard by a good jungler. You get level 4'd on, and you're going to get pressure on your camps. You're going to get double crabbed. That's not how sort of the game works. Like, honestly, that is not even worth the first blood.
That's what's been happening in my games, by the way. I've been seeing champions that would otherwise be full clearing be level 3 ganking. Like Wukong level 3, one side gank. And he loses his whole top side. He doesn't even get the kill. The champ can't really do it.
You can't even kill people.
Yeah, Diana's are doing it. Like, all this like level 3 gank. People are losing their marbles about it, right?
Like, it feels like, honestly, in League nowadays, jungling, it feels very uncomfortable not to get level 4. It just does. It's just the reality.
And you played Rek'Sai.
And I play Rek'Sai. I play early game junglers, guys, and I'm telling you this. I don't even really. I think in my 16 games, I've probably level 3 ganked 3 times. Okay. Other than that, I'm still just full clearing. And just hoping my team gets the first blood. Really. So that's the first comment about the first blood. What have you guys experienced with that? Have you guys thought about that? Do you guys look at the feats of strength, like who got first blood? Yes, my team got first blood.
I've just found it weird what you said about top lane, because from my experience, like I remember vividly these 2 top laners, they both had ignite and they're just hitting each other before the minions even come, and they flipped the feat of strength by like 10 HP, and that's just everyone's like just going for that first blood. But yeah, I think top laners can actually do it. I think it's pretty balanced through all the roles though. What do you think? Maybe mid lane is dying.
Mid lane might have less control.
I think you can't really have this conversation without really understanding all the pieces. Because, okay, so we know that League already is a very snowball-oriented game, right? And so I'm actually I'm on the fence about this. So the wider, from what I understand on Reddit and the wider community, is that the main criticisms are like, well, if you get first blood, that's already a big advantage. You're incentivizing a particular like very skirmish heavy or like again early game kind of focused approach, and the games are becoming very snowbally to maybe an unbalanced degree, and it is a little bit weird how you're already getting so much for first blood. It's already such a valuable thing to get first blood, but then you're getting it's like an additional you're incentivized additionally, right? I think at the moment, if we're really taking in feats of strength and how it interacts with the current game with Atakhan and everything, I do think it's too much. Personally, I think there's too many snowballing components. Like it's like if you get first blood and then
I will say if whoever gets first blood from what I've experienced so far, they're gonna get the feats of strength.
Typically
correct. It's like 80, 90. I think it's every game.
Well, because if you think about it as well, right? If you
it's
get
so hard compared
first
to the
blood,
others.
You've got an advantage. That typically gives you an advantage potential on the first objective play,
the first hour.
And the first hour.
Yep.
They all snowball in together. Yeah. And then you get feature strength, and you're typically then stronger. And then you're going to get an advantage for Atakhan. And then, and like it's not, or grubs, whatever. And then it just snowballs. Rift Herald, and then Atakhan. It all snowballs on top of each other. And I feel like at the moment, anyway, in my games are very snowbally.
Yep.
And the only reason, right, they haven't been even as snowbally as they are is that the main games that I've won, not the main games, some of these games I've won are purely because the enemy haven't properly played around Atakhan. They've overstayed, forgetting that Atakhan is up. They die, we kill them, we get Atakhan, and then we come back. Because getting Atakhan is, you get so, especially the one
that gives XP.
The one that gives XP.
Insane.
You get so much.
I played a game today. I've never seen this in my life. The game was like pretty much dead even. I was farming quite well as Rek'Sai. I was level 13 and the enemy Talia jungle was level 18 at 24 minutes. Never in my life. So that's impossible.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Because of the petals, right?
Yeah, it's
and
the
then
XP petals and the Atakhan, yeah.
Atakhan gives 30 petals or whatever, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And so, yeah, I remember I had 21, I remember one of these games I had 21 petals and I think it was 500? 550 or 560 XP, I think.
How much XP is in a level?
It depends. I thought I meant at level 13, it's like 1500
or
something like that. So my point being is that, okay, tying back to the feature strength, we'll get to Atakhan.
Yeah,
the feature strength, like it does feel quite a bit much at the moment.
It's OP at the moment. I will say flat out, it's OP.
And the stats are really good
on the tier 3 boots.
On the boots,
yeah.
The boots, like
people are saying the Ionian boots, they are not too good, but the rest of them are pretty much fine.
The attack speed ones are really good. The pen ones are great.
I think Swifties are crazy. Like if we're talking about like the feats of strength, the thing I think it's skewed so heavily in the game is that the game is everyone's so goddamn fast. Have you guys noticed this?
Yeah, everyone's
every
faster.
champion is a billion times faster. Everyone deploys on the map faster. Tempo is just like no one knows who the fuck has tempo, where everyone is. The lull states are already so chaotic because there's 500 objectives and everyone's sprinting around. It's like, what is going on? Like, genuinely.
Have you guys actually, out of curiosity, have you noticed? I put it down to early season. There's a lot more fight. Like everyone's dying. Like,
okay, so
I agree.
It's very important, Nathan. We mentioned this because we've got two levels, two contributing factors here. We have the new early changes, and what do we know at the beginning of every single season? Riot loves to basically make things overpowered, too much damage, and they temper it down, right? That's what they want. Because they want people to take Atakhan. They want people to incentivize the feats of strength. This is what Froxon said. They want people to test shit and get involved and see how strong it is so they can tamper it down. That's what they've always done on every single season when it comes to every aspect of the game, right? So we know that that's going to be the case 100%. The other thing, though, is that early season, people lose their marbles because people get really flustered. They want to get their LP. They also, again, are probably limit testing a lot. People fuck around with the game. They want to feel out what it's like. They play probably a little bit looser, I would say, to a certain degree. And then also, they're more incentivized to tilt. Why? Because of the rest, they get, oh my placements. I'm 0-3 in my placements, whatever.
And MMR is so crazy. You get like plus 30, minus 10 or whatever. So everyone thinks every win is so important.
Exactly right. So you've got this like kind of cauldron of all these elements. So it's not just the fact, it's not only the game elements that are influencing the chaotic nature and the fast-paced nature. Although that is a big component, you have to take in everything else as well. But yes, I think circling back, I personally think the feats of strength are a little bit too strong at the moment. And it feels like, whoever gets first blood is probably going to complete it.
And as well with the objective, so really I would say that the feats of strength, what you have control of, it's like first blood, and I'm just thinking about the three objectives, the first three objectives. Yeah. And so League, like as a jungler, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the game is really like objective focused now.
Grubs, I think, are super important.
Okay, interesting. So I actually think dragon stacking is actually better than grubs now. I'll explain why. The reason being is that you can have soul before Baron.
Yeah.
Right. So personally, I've in my 16 games, I've literally consciously been like, I'm going for the dragon stacking, and that has felt better than grubs currently.
But the game I played with you, the 6 grubs we had felt like it was so easy to snowball with the feats of strength and the 6 grubs.
That's what I'm thinking.
We had 6 grubs in our game, and we got T2.
We would have got that anyway, Charles. And
you think so?
Yeah, we would have 100%. And also, that was my 3rd, 4th game. Like that's my current perception currently.
But I love grubs personally.
I like grubs as well because it helps with tower as well. It's a win-win. You get more tower damage, which helps. It's like a guarantee. Even if you just get the first 3, because obviously you don't get the feats of strength just off the first 3. Yeah. But it helps you get more tower damage.
Maybe I'm liking it more, guys, here because the game, the Atakhan fight, the wipe, the Baron, like no one's going to side lanes in my games, guys, and hitting towers. Then it's just fighting. Like I literally played a game just before. It was 100 kills in 33 minutes or something like that, right? And I'm literally pinging my sides. Please, let's get some side lane pressure. And people are saying, guys, let's get Atakhan OP. And it's like, guys, we're gonna push some waves to like set it up. We just gotta. It's literally just the river is black, and we're just running at each other.
That's mental stack overload a lot of it.
It's crazy.
But the game it has felt like a lot of these games are like a team deathmatch.
Yeah.
Like they feel like that. Like
that's why I value dragons more.
That I can see that. Yeah. So
also as well that soul aspect, like basically soul's almost a given before Baron, which is the way that also that you interesting dynamic that I found is that usually the that 3rd dragon was usually when Baron spawned. And usually what would happen is that it would be a trade. Like, you could pressure.
Yeah, you could pressure.
But now it's just like when you're ahead, it's actually more snowbally because now it's like you just get the dragon.
There's no counterplay.
It's just it's like one objective at a time now.
It is, yeah. There's always something up.
Doesn't it feel weird as well when Baron's not up at 20?
Oh, dude, I will say Baron's not even in my game.
Yeah, Baron is irrelevant.
Agree.
The game's over by 25. Yeah.
That's interesting, actually. Baron is irrelevant.
It's irrelevant because whoever gets Atakhan, right, basically, and feats of strength, basically, you've already determined the win, basically, at least in my game.
It makes you think 5 minutes in League of Legends feels like 20 years, dude. Like you'd think, it's just a 5-minute difference. That's massive. Yeah, so much happens in the 20 to 25 minute mark.
So, I guess with the current state, we've got actually before we even get to that, let's talk about Atakhan. I think we have to talk about Atakhan, right? So there's the two different types of Atakhan.
Yep.
You've got the GA one.
Yep.
Right, and then you've got.
So that's the one that does the bot side. So what's the difference between bot side and top side? The top side is the experienced one, right? And
no, dude. I had someone ask me this today as well.
On either side.
So there's I don't know the names, but Yokota's is right. The GA one. Or the one that gives you the XP.
Okay.
And they spawn at whichever side of the map has the most champion damage or kills. And that is dictated at 14 minutes.
I see.
So that locks in at 14.
Do I know that?
Yes. Because the dot bush disappears and it's replaced with a little cone. And if you hover over the Atakhan on the tab screen, it'll tell you where it spawns as well.
I see. So the tab screen has so much information.
The tab screen is so full. There's feats of strength.
Dude, I don't know what's going on.
The buffs as well. It has the buffs as well, right?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Dude, I didn't even know, because you know how they've changed the icons as well. I didn't even know what was what. got it at
Yeah,
some
me
point.
too.
Remember
I was
the
the same.
tab screen back like 4 years ago? It was just score lines, and now it's like the bloody yellow pages back there. There's like so much going on. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, international audience have no idea what yellow pages is, by the way.
White pages? What's it
White
called?
What do they
pages,
call
yellow
it?
pages?
White pages.
Phone book. A phone book.
A phone book, yeah.
book.
But okay, so you got these two there. Like it's one into the side. So first things first. What do you guys think about? Let's talk about the GA one first.
Okay, firstly, that thing never spawns. Can we be honest? I think I've got it once, twice.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it twice in 16 games.
Doesn't spawn
Yeah,
because
it's
there's too many
uncommon.
kills. But maybe once the game slows down, it'll happen more. I've heard some people say it'll happen pretty much every game in competitive League of Legends because there's not enough kills.
Yes.
But the GA one is kind of silly. Like I've personally gone through situations where I do get it and I play like a psycho, run down mid, trade kills, die, get tempo, and just keep.
You
playing
think
the
it's
game.
broken?
Yeah, it's broken.
It is,
If
it is
you're
broken.
coordinated with your team and you kind of ping, what you can do is you can just dive a tower as a 5-man unit, get like multiple kills and a tower, and then just like all die and then come back on the
Because
map.
it's a tempo hack.
It is. That's
a
what's
tempo
broken.
hack.
That's
That's
what's
what's broken
Because
about
you
it.
kill them, but you insta spawn. So you just
insta-spawn.
go, you have death tempo like on steroids because you just run back on the map before the enemy respawns.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I guess that they have to use resources and HP, so it's not like they're going to kill you and get map control,
Yep.
right? Okay. Because so my initial thoughts, I did have a game today where it did feel a bit impactful, but I think we're just behind. We're going to lose that game anyway, to be honest. But my initial observations was because there's no objective that spawns after, so it's gone by the time Baron spawns
you
anyway.
can't think of it like that. You got to think about it like use it to get tier 2s and
Correct.
stuff.
I see.
Dive towers. Just test
Dive
it out.
towers,
Test
yeah.
it out driving
and,
towers.
and you talk about coordination again. I have not seen much coordination in my game. So
Oh,
like,
you just ping down mid. Just that's what I mean by
alright, so
coordination.
you're just saying just ping down mid, just
Yeah.
sprint it down mid with
give it a
just
crack.
in
That's
for
my
the
that's
down.
my current hypothesis. Is you just run down a
Interesting.
lane.
I think it's actually in its current state. I the first time I had it, I used it completely wrong.
Yeah.
And I saw exactly how I should have used it in the review. But I think it's
So how
people
did you use it
caught-
wrong?
Or so what happened in mine? We got it right, and then we were like all went bot, and then my jungler like basically went for this super low percentage play on Krugs, and I'm like, I could back him up and I could probably get a double kill, but I'm gonna die. But I had the value my life mindset.
Yep.
So what I should have done is followed him up, got the double kill, died, and he died as well, and then we insta respawn, get back on the map. It's just like an insane
Dude,
win.
that's absolutely hilarious because I had the opposite learning. It was a game with you, and I overstayed the classic T3 overstay, and I traded kills and I respawned. I didn't know I had it.
Oh, that was like
Yeah, I didn't know.
unintentional.
I was making a mistake. And if I didn't have it, it would have been an overstay, like an idiot
Yeah.
death. And I was fighting for death, and I trade
hilarious.
kills, and I'm like, oh, that felt absolutely fantastic. Because he reset, I'm pretty sure, in my games, but and I didn't
Yeah, so
reset.
you would have done what I did. You're in the normal mindset. You got to like completely switch your mindset. It's
Yeah.
actually really uncomfortable because
I love it.
Yeah, it actually is right up your alley, Charlie. The way you play mid game.
Yeah.
It's like you got to basically throw out everything, the mindset you actually had, like small wins, throw it
Yeah,
out. The
that's useless for me.
yeah,
I
it's hard.
see.
It would be actually really
Okay.
annoying
Yeah.
for you. Like go
Like
for
all
like a
these
low
split push
percentage
bullshit.
like
Yeah.
invade or a low percentage kill.
Because you need to use
Burn
it.
their
You
resources.
got to use it.
Yeah, you wanna
'Cause
make
that's
use
like
of it.
It's like 150 seconds. Isn't it?
2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
One thing I've also noticed is actually a throw prevention tool as well. I've had games where I'm very behind and we all in on a pick that we would have got us back in the game and then they revive.
Yeah, that happened to me as well.
Very
with that,
annoying.
yeah.
Very annoying.
So I think in its current state, I can't imagine it staying the same in its current state, and I think it would be even more unbalanced in pro play.
Yeah.
like I think there's so much you could do with
Oh,
it
in pro play, completely
It would
broken.
completely break the game, I feel.
One of our coaches, Rico, was telling me that they're scrimming on it at the moment, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty,
Parby was saying the same.
it's pretty much just like end of review,
Yeah.
like GG once you get it.
Yeah. So there's that, right? Now you have the other one, right? It gives you the 25% increased buff, right, to your epic. To your buffs.
See, Epic
15.
Monsters, no,
Is it
25, I think. Yeah.
Is it
25
25?
epic monster buff, right?
Yep.
So you get
So
that.
if you're talking about the blue and the red, it increases the...
No, Dragon
Dragons.
Soul.
Oh, so
The
that's-
broken thing
increases
is
the
when you get that
effectiveness.
Atakhan, and then you have Cloud Soul, and then you're like
Oh, you're
Super
so
I
Mario.
had
fast.
Infernal Soul with
Yeah, oh
I
my-
was doing so it was Galio.
Maybe that's why
Floating
that's
Galio.
why it's so broken. That's one of the biggest factors in my
Yeah, it's
opinion.
huge.
It's insane.
Wait, so that does the experience and that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's just the best.
It's the best.
Correct,
by far.
yes, it is the best.
So
I
I mean, both of them are valuable.
both of
though, I
them,
guess.
especially if you're stacking dragons,
Yeah.
it's mega value, right? But the XP is the big one, right? The
Yeah, the
of
petals XP.
The petals are really, really important. And one thing I didn't realize with petals, everyone gets them, right? So if one person picks them up, everyone gets them, and And the adaptive force is actually really significant, and the XP is extremely significant. And the fact that you get, like, they spawn around the Atakhan, like, you know...
Oh, that's so satisfying.
It's so sad. You get the Atakhan, you get everything, you typically usually win the team fight, and you get all that bonus XP and stuff. It's like win, 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 win. So, and the great thing about Atakhan, this is, I mean, not great thing, an interesting observation with Atakhan, we did mention this on our kind of, as our observations before Season 15, it's the first time a neutral objective has been non-committal. In the sense that, think about where it is on the map. It's so non-committal. The fights always are so sloppy because you can duck in and out of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So
Wow,
my perception of Atakhan is that, you know how you do like Baron dance, you go and you get vision. There's no setup.
There's no setup.
I don't know how to set it up.
You can't set it up.
Even sideways.
I
people
found
ditch.
it incredibly uncomfortable to contest. Interestingly, I'm playing immobile carries every game. And if I start
There's so many
thing,
flank angles.
how do I
for an
get
80
out?
Carry. For an 80 carry.
Yeah, I'm like trying to fight, and my exit route is try bush or run bot lane or something.
But it's non-committal if you have, like, I guess if you're tanky and or you have mobility. But I guess if you're an 80 carry, like an Ashe or something, it'd be very, very uncomfortable.
Because generally speaking, the play pattern of mid game is you push out mid deep,
That's right.
you make
Move
people
in.
react, and then you move to Atakhan. The problem is Atakhan's so tanky that you can't do it before they get in the river, and you kind of need to jockey for position on bot wave more
wave.
than mid wave, and
then
then
you
you
leave
lose
your mid
mid push,
exposed.
and then it's like
it's actually really complicated. I think
it's really
it's
complicated.
really complicated. Like right now, no one's thinking. Everyone's just doing it no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And in reality, though, the way it should play out is that Atakhan should be a massive investment because, again, like you just said, you're losing complete mid control. What should happen if you trade off Atakhan properly, because it's pretty tanky and you're all the way on the other side of the map, you should lose maybe mid tier 2, top tier 2, like, or whatever on the other side. You should lose tier 2s on either lane opposite of the Atakhan. That's how you should probably potentially trade it off.
So what I've been thinking of is you don't ever want to send 5 people to Atakhan. Is what I've been experimenting with. Like you actually want to have someone wave clear mid.
Yeah, you kind of
all the time. Because if you don't have someone sitting mid wave clearing, like you said, it's actually probably not even worth it if you're going to lose like an inhib or something. And I mean, speaking of Atakhan, Nathan, you're a fellow ex-World of Warcraft player. How have the mechanics felt to you? Do you know what the abilities do? I had to watch a YouTube video to learn.
It's like Herald, right? You have to go behind it and...
No, so the Atakhan has 2 abilities, depending on its form, right? It always has a skill shot in a line. But the difference between this epic monster and the other ones is it actually kills you.
It does, yeah.
It bloody kills you. You have to dodge the beam.
Yeah, the beam.
And then it's also got this AoE, and you have to dodge in or out to dodge it. Like depending.
Is that
on
when he does that big...
The whirlwind,
the
yeah.
whirlwind?
If
I thought everyone was getting hit by it.
No, you can dodge it. So as a melee
even when you're in it.
So as a melee champion, you just put your body basically in it, and you dodge the hit. And if you're a ranged champion, you want to move out of it to dodge the hit.
I see.
Because it's genuinely meaningful. Like that's the other thing about it, Curtis, is like you take Atakhan, it takes an hour and a half to kill, and it kills you. So there's no such thing as overstaying and like, let's say for example, get Atakhan and push out bot or top. You have to base after taking it because you're so low.
But at the moment, it's like a you would give 2 tier 2s for it though, in its current form, in a way, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. In my games, honestly,
Everyone's fighting to this.
No one's been trading it.
no one's been
trading it.
So this is my experience right now with Atakhan. No one trades it.
Yep.
It seems to be a lot of the time it's like an afterthought. Like people aren't thinking about it.
People are not thinking about it.
So we get a bunch of kills and it's like, oh wow, let's do Atakhan.
Yeah.
I maybe it's just I sometimes even forget it exists.
But I'll be
by the
honest,
way.
in a lot of my games, a game has kind of felt over before Atakhan.
Yeah, like someone's already
Most
getting
of the
into
time,
our Atakhan.
Because you've got the feats of strength, you've got the grubs or the dragon stacking. Yeah, exactly. It's a win more.
It's an afterthought.
No, it's either one or the
that's what
other.
it
It's
feels
either
like.
the person that one team doesn't play properly around it and they throw the entire game with it, or they just like it's like, oh, we're gonna win anyway. Let's just get it and we just win the game.
I think the most common thing is both like one team forgets it exists, bases on a bad timer, and just loses it.
Yeah.
Like that just genuinely has happened more
yeah,
often.
it's happened to me
Because like I was saying earlier, the lull state usage is impossible right now.
so overwhelming.
There's too much to track.
There's too much. I agree. There's a lot.
I actually can't do it at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I can't play with intention at the moment because there's just too many
what do I
variables.
do?
And I don't trust what's happening to me in all my mid games is I go into the side lane and I'm like, I don't trust these fuckers in mid. They're gonna die. They're gonna die 100%. And I'm not even with TP. I'm not going to side because they're gonna die on mid. That's what's happening in all my games.
Yeah.
Like the games are so fast that I have to group. And if you don't group, you're just not.
So Nathan's telling people to go side. You're telling people to go mid.
I want people to go side.
I'm sitting on mid wave as well.
It's, everything that you guys have just said there, it just makes it sound more, people always ask, like, how do I play mid game? Like, what's the structure? Give me the little tools. Now it's like, dude, play your champion, fight. You have to learn how to fight.
Exactly. Right now, the key is adaptability. Try and be somewhat aware of your teammates' location and just fight to the better.
Utilize fog of war. There's so much fog of war.
It's still numbers advantage and tempo.
Of course.
Like people still go back to base, and if you take a bad fight when your team's in base, you will still lose games. So you still need to track where everyone is.
But you do, but it was way more. I felt more slower and structured.
Yeah, because people took time to go farm sides, so you knew when to red light, green light, right? Now the red light, green light, it's kind of like green light in a lot of ways.
Now. What will be interesting though is Riot happy? Like, is this what they want the game to be? Like, do they want the game to be this, fight after fight or objective after objective after objective kind of like type of fast-paced arena game, or do they want, or have they again intentionally done this in a way to get people to get these objectives? Like, for me, I'm just genuinely curious what direction Riot are going to take the game, because I'm actually going to side with Reddit for a second. Reddit, we'll bring up some posts in a moment, they're not happy, right? They're not happy with the direction of the game. They're not happy with feature strength coming from First Blood.
Reddit are happy with the state of the game.
They're not happy with the pedals, how much XP they give. They're not happy with how overtuned Atakhan is. And I'll be honest, I couldn't agree more. I think the game is not in a healthy state. It's fun to play, but I don't think it's a sustainable version of League. I don't think it's a sustainable iteration of League. I think it's stressful. I think it's very difficult to learn from these games. And quite honestly, I think it actually removes a lot of what made League strategically beautiful in the mid game specifically. Now, again, I'm conflating a lot of things here. Maybe as people familiarize themselves with the game,
it will become more structured.
And it becomes more structured later on. I don't know. I'm just saying right now in this current time, it's fun, but I don't think it's healthy.
To play devil's advocate there, I think that, yes, that's probably true, but I think it's got like a bell curve to it. And I think once everyone's understanding catches up with the variables, it will actually become a more beautiful game. Again, just playing devil's advocate.
No,
but
totally.
like straight up, like you have to factor in more things. Technically, the game has become harder because there's more variables to factor in. You won't be able to just fight to the death on every Atakhan, because as we've just discussed, if you trade it, maybe that's going to be better, because like you send one person to stall them on Atakhan and then you do stuff on the other side of the map. Like there will be more strategic like variance once people figure it out. I think it's way too early to jump to conclusions, because for lull state, again, just tying back to that lull state usage mental stack, like no one is actually playing the game right now. They're playing their character. So it's hard to tell.
Call of Duty League of Legends.
But I think like a game where there's constantly spawning objectives and you're constantly having to make different decisions, it's more tactical than strategic. But I think it's fun to fight as well.
It's fun. It is fun.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think your point before was actually got me thinking, in the sense that I think there's a lot more strategy to Atakhan. Obviously, Atakhan will be balanced a bit. Obviously, it's not going to stay in its current state, but I do think there is a lot more to Atakhan in terms of, like, again, it's very intentional that Atakhan is placed where it is, and I think at the moment people are not fully understanding how to abuse the fact that Atakhan is in that location. It's harder to keep junglers out from stealing it. It's actually harder to prevent people from poking you, because you're in such an... It does a shit ton of damage. It's hard to kill.
It's harder to turn off
It's
as well,
harder to
because
turn
there's
off.
no like baiting and bush camping.
Yep.
There's no bushes anywhere near it except for try, right?
Exactly right.
There's walls though.
There is walls. So
Good point.
It's simultaneously... It is a big investment. And again, I think you're right. I think as people understand how much of a commitment Atakhan is, know when it's going to be spawning, actually have the mental capacity to think about when it's going to spawn.
Yeah, that's what the problem is.
And like, I think the
That's
game
step
will change.
one. That's step one.
No one knows when it's...
Because all I know is when it makes the noise, like the growl, it's up. That's a lot.
What they, again, playing devil's advocate to Riot, what they probably should have done, they probably should have toned down one of them intentionally. Feats of Strength or Atakhan.
Like drip feed them, you mean? Like
Yes.
introduce them one at a time?
No, what I mean by this is that at the moment, Feature Strength is pretty strong and Atakhan is strong. Like what they should have done, because at the moment it feels like it's a bloodbath in the early game, because everyone wants to get the Feature Strength, and then you have that on top of Atakhan being introduced and that being strong as well. So you have like a shit show on top of a shit show. What they probably could have done is be like, okay, Feature Strength is strong, but okay, after that, Atakhan's, we know it's underpowered. But they wouldn't have done that because they want people to get Atakhan to
Of course.
So I can understand why they would have done it this way, but from a user experience, it is very overwhelming to get shoved all of this in your face.
From a laner's perspective, do you really think Feats of Strength are changing how you lane? Is it affecting you too much? Because from my perspective, like, my support is probably leaving to go to grubs more often than they used to. But generally speaking, like, the lane is still decided pretty early on, and I'm still just laning.
Yeah,
So
league is league.
my early game still feels pretty similar, to be honest.
Well, no, okay. Laning hasn't changed, but one thing that has definitely changed, well, two things that have definitely changed is the picks. I think champions that can skirmish more effectively and play with your jungler are stronger. Like
Aurora's crazy.
Aurora, Ahri, LeBlanc, all these I think are going to be really strong, at least in its current state. And secondly, being very intentional about what you're doing with tower damage. So, like, I'm actively thinking in a lot of my games, fuck, if I go bot, like, and I kill them, that we could potentially get first tower. And I versed in Curcio, and he was, like, killing bot, and I think, like, I'm assuming his thought process was, like, if you kill bot, we're going to get bot tower. Like, I'm behind, but we're going to get bot tower. I'm going to get first, but we're going to get bot tower. I'm out, I'm done, but they can carry me through. And I think that, like, there's more strategies. You actually got to be very thoughtful about how am I going to contribute to getting first tower or preventing getting tower taken this game? So that's actually one thing that I've actively seen. And a lot of the time I'm thinking, fuck, if my top laner TP's bot or goes bot or whatever, I have to cover top. Like, I'm actively, I wasn't thinking about that before. A lot of the time, if they lose tower, it's fine. I'm fine, I'm doing my thing. But I actually feel pressured to either defend the tower or think about first tower. And that's not something I really thought about before.
Fair enough. I guess as a bot laner, it's something we always thought about because a common dynamic is one support will be running around the map trying to break lanes, take grubs, and the other support will be pushing the enemy AD carry into tower. So, like, playing a really good weak side or knowing how to, like, play a good strong side, I guess, is actually really important. It always has been. Because I feel like bot tower is the one that falls most of the time. Is that your guys' experience?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, exactly right.
Although I've seen just a lot of Dravens in my game randomly. Is that because of the first blood thing?
I banned Draven.
Okay,
I don't
you
know if people are
banned
going to like that. Yes,
What
I'm
is
very
that,
scared of
dude?
Draven. I banned it every
What
game.
is that?
So there's a lot there.
I want to talk again from a jungler's perspective. I love the Rift Herald change to 16 minutes. So then second grubs, because sometimes second grubs wasn't a thing in League of Legends. It would just despawn because some deaths happen. And
So can grubs spawn up until 16 now?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's alive till 16. Then
even know
Herald comes. So I think that's a fantastic change. Yeah, jungle just literally is just... When you're ahead, it's literally like you have time to do like one clear and there's the next objective,
So is clear speed really important?
Yeah, I mean, clear speed's always super important. I think that's never going to go away. That's how the way jungle is. Yeah, I think it's important. Of course.
Does Rek'Sai's clear speed, is it okay?
For the full clear, that's one of the slowest in the game.
So how are you winning if clear speed's important?
Because when I clear on the perfect timing.
Okay, use the base.
It's good jungle. I'm just fucking good at League of Legends. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some like people playing Wukong.
Yeah.
And Wukong has a terrible clear for most of the game.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
So they fall behind. If they start doing dumb shit, they fall behind. So they're useless.
It's skirmish junglers. That's what's winning. It's like Vi, Wukong, like I guess Rek'Sai as well.
Well, that's more so as well because Faded Ashes was sort of AD jungle's just a better now because Faded Ashes got nerfed like a couple of patches ago. So that's sort of why that is the case as well. But yeah, so I like that. So the Atakhan is interesting. Again, as a jungler, it's just an afterthought to me right now. I'm hunting for kills and Atakhan's just a result. I don't play around. I don't set up. My mistake was I was thinking of Atakhan as like a Baron, but it's not. It's literally just someone's going to get it or not. There's not been a single steal of Atakhan in 16 games, by the way. It's just very binary who gets it and who doesn't, basically. That's what I found. All right, let's move on now. Well, we've talked about a lot of stuff.
Did I have any of my...
Snowball nature of the game, bumping all the fish.
Yeah, oh yeah, so...
The meta champion? Have you guys noticed anything about champions?
I mean, it's very early on, but I was just saying, like, quickly with mid lane. Again, I think skirmish-oriented mid laners. I think Aurora, Ahri, I think if you can play LeBlanc, that'd be great. These sorts of champions. But in saying that, I do think Victor is in a good spot. I think it's just can be tricky to play in high-threat compositions. But I think Victor in the right place can be good. But yeah, typically a lot of these skirmish-oriented champions are going to be the way to go.
AD carry has probably been the role that's changed the most, I think, because our champions directly got affected. Ashe got a change, Varus got changed.
Ashe has been popping up a lot in my games.
Yeah, so I was actually looking at the Lolalytics, and a lot of the champions who were very strong last patch are not winning games this patch. And obviously we're very early, but like Jhin, terrible win rate now. It used to be 51, 52%. Now it's 48.
Because Jin's bad in chaos, right?
So I was actually trying to figure this out this morning. I don't know why. I'm just going to spit the facts. Like, Ash also gone from like a 51, 52 to a 48% win rate. So Ash got straight up nerfed.
Yeah, again, Ash doesn't like
sucks in
chaos.
chaos.
So what they did with Ash, right, is that they took the damage from now W scales with bonus AD, right, or something, and
So,
then max Q, right, or something.
I don't know what you max, but practically speaking, W does less damage in the early game,
damage.
and also your passive is changed, so it works on every auto, not on every subsequent auto, but it does less damage. So Ash's whole identity of being this level 1 unbeatable champion no longer exists. You're no longer the best champion in the game level 1. You can't sit in the third bush and chase them down. So the champion is just inherently worse. And you're, like Nathan's saying, an immobile thing that can't contest a single neutral objective. So that sucks. Varus also got completely nerfed as well in his mana costs. And that's very noticeable, I've noticed. So these lane bully AD carries seem like worse in general. And the champions that seem to be doing well, from my perspective, has just been like team fighters. Jinx seems crazy strong at the moment. I'm playing a lot of Xayah. I haven't lost a Xayah game yet. Like, Xayah seems really
Great in
powerful.
chaos, right?
I'm also running that new rune. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but Axiom Arcanist or something. Where
Is that in the inspiration tree?
Sorcery.
Is that
Sorcery
the one
tree.
that gives like art cooldown?
Look it up, Nathan. I think,
Ultimate
it gives ulti haste, I imagine.
haste,
And it goes ulti damage, I think, as well. So I think that...
increased damage and healing and shielding, and then it gives you ultimate cooldown.
That's the one, yeah. So I think I've been running Absolute Focus and that Axiom one on Xayah, and I feel like my ulti's up so often, and it feels great. Because that was a big weakness of Xayah in the past, is your ulti is just, you're gated by that cooldown.
It may not be updated yet on the wiki.
I don't even know where to go.
Who gave this guy the controls?
Ah, there we go.
Ulti haste, is that what it is?
Your ultimate has 14% increased damage. That's the passive. Healing and shielding. And scoring an enemy champion takedown reduces your ultimate's ability current cooldown by 7%.
Yeah. Awesome. So you get a kill with the ult, resets.
That's cool.
So strong with
Yeah.
Xayah. Xayah feels fantastic.
Fascinating. Please tell me Kai'Sa would have a high win rate, I assume, right?
Didn't look.
I love Kai'Sa. Chaos.
I haven't seen a single Kai'Sa, by the way, this split, in every game I played.
Yeah, it's basically, you're right, Jinx. I've seen a lot of Jinx. I've seen Draven a lot.
The reason is because Kai'Sa's build has been completely obliterated by Riot, and they haven't changed it. So this is something I might agree with other people on, which is that, I don't know how relevant this is, but Kai'Sa has to build a cull to get the Q upgrade. Because the items she builds doesn't give her the AD required to level up the Q.
Oh, wow.
And upgrade it. So there's two ways around it. You either wait till level 10, or you squeeze a cull in the early game. And they both feel bad. So that's why I hate Kai'Sa at the moment. Hate it. Because cull sucks. Who wants to build cull?
Is it Rico who has a saying in the 80k Academy, if you build cull, I'm not reviewing your game?
Yeah, he says that. Yeah, if you leash or start cull, he will not review your game.
Oh my goodness. I like it. I respect it.
Yeah, I honestly don't have much to comment with the jungle meta, except for that whole AD junglers. There's a lot of Viego I'm versing.
And things are going to change.
Just pretty much the standard.
Very, very early on.
But I mean, I'm just dominating every jungler
So
anyway.
I think, Nathan, what we should do is we should take a look at the Reddit. I want to take a look at
Okay, so we're going to the community. Charles, do you have more dot points on your little thing?
I believe we're done.
All right. So diving into the community's perception right now of the first 24 hours of the... Oh, this one was 17 hours ago. Wait, did this guy even play? This is a European... What is this?
He played like 3 games.
Yeah, this is like one game. I think it must have been European. Yeah, he's played one game. All right, here we
Awesome.
go. This is from Punkala.
Wait. Okay, sorry. Look at on the post, right? There's an edit, and it says, having actually played this patch, unless they make some drastic changes, I'm sitting this season out. Fuck it.
So he didn't play and he made the post.
That's hilarious. Right, let's
read the post. We're reading the post. All right, so this one had 2.8k upvotes. So this is the League of Legends community is really getting behind this one. Having First Blood as one of the feats of strength will lead to unprecedented levels of toxicity. It has been said before, but First Blood should never be a thing that contributes to snowballing the game. First Blood is completely random, and at least in my games, usually happens because ADC is AFK in Tribush when they invade. First Blood and now gaining the boots becomes a lot harder. I guarantee that this will lead to a lot of AFK/soft inting, especially since the upgraded swiftness boots are completely broken. So his first edit was the boots upgrade is for the whole team. By being AFK and giving first blood, you are permanently putting your whole team behind for the rest of the game. And then his edit 2 is having actually played this patch, unless they make some drastic changes, I'm sitting this season out. F this.
Wait, before we even get into the comments,
sit it out.
Regardless of whether
You
or not
should sit it out.
No, but regardless of whether or not you agree with the post, because I think there are some things to this, some there's merit to it.
Yeah.
It's just funny how a post was this sort of post was made before they had played, right? So this conclusion was drawn
Without feeling it.
without playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's just interesting. I just found that
just
from a psychological perspective.
Like theoretically, it's like people love reading patch notes. People love talking about the game. People love, I guess this is a huge part about lots of the excitement about the new season and the new changes. People want to theory craft because if you get that edge, that's the LP gain. You want to get the quick little theory edge. And if a lot of people spend time thinking about this stuff, so then they're going to start putting out these posts, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the psychology of the community, why these are so important posts to the community when, again, we could review this guy's games and he's losing games and end up reviewing in 100 times in a
it's
game,
irrelevant
right?
in the grand scheme of
Yes,
things.
correct,
Yes.
right? We always need to bring it back to that, right? So yeah, do we want to read some of the comments now, or
Just really
Well,
quickly.
let's just react to the post first.
okay,
Yeah,
right to
yeah.
the post.
Well, I was just going to say, with the Feats of Strength, just to get something straight, is it the triumphant boost you get before buying the boots that people think are broken, or is it buying the boots that's broken? Because it's two parts.
It's two
right?
parts, yeah.
Which one's broken?
Well, he doesn't really
Specify
that. I think he
Okay.
said the upgraded Swift. I'm assuming he means the one
The
that you
tier 3
purchased.
boots, right?
Yeah.
Do we call it tier 3 boots, by the way?
Yeah, I guess T3 boost. That
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Okay, I was just going to check that.
So yeah, we kind of mentioned this before. It is interesting, right? I mean, you're kind of getting doubly incentivized to get first blood. It is a lot. I would agree. I don't know if that's just because of the current state of the boots or even just the state of the game, right? Where like first blood just feels impactful because of how snowbally the game really is in its current state, right? So again, there's a lot going on now. I don't disagree with this. I'll be honest. I don't disagree with it. It's interesting because I personally do feel like the game is a little bit too snowbally at the moment. I don't know if having first blood as one of the feats of strengths is the best way to go about it. Maybe you would have first tower, the epic monster one, and then maybe it's like
What about first to 10 kills?
yeah, first to 5 kills, whatever the hell. Like that probably to me intuitively might be a little healthier to the game. So yeah, I don't disagree with it.
I mean, so you guys, that's good. I agree with that part. But if I'm actually reacting to the post, I disagree. It says that this will lead to a lot of AFK soft intin.
What does that mean?
It basically thinks that people are going to give up and be super toxic. Oh, you gave first blood, raging in the chat. I don't think that's going to happen
Okay,
at all.
let's-
People want to
First
win
blood's
games.
already important.
But
Yeah,
let's-
people have always said that. People sometimes get upset, but once the minions spawn and you're locked in, you're playing the game.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is the thing, right? So
I'm
you
thinking
got
it's
to
fine.
remember, right? If you don't know why you're losing games, if you're stuck, you're the average, let's say a silver player out there,
Timmy.
little Timmy, going out there playing some games, and you don't really know why you're losing. Maybe you don't review, or you've never really kind of taken the game seriously. Now that you've got this big thing, like you die, someone dies first blood, it's like ding, this thing comes up, and it's like
It says
oh my-
it, first
it's
blood.
first blood, and you've also got like the little feats of
It's
strength,
huge as well, by the way. It's blue or red.
blue.
It's
It's like this big deal, right? And
It,
it's like, oh my
looks
God,
like it looks like I got a butt, even though it
like
doesn't
a
do
slot
anything.
machine.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like a slot
legit
machine.
and it's like
Yeah.
oh my God, oh gosh darn, they got the feature string. Oh, the game's it's like it's such a great.
I say the game's I've won the game. That's what I say. I've done.
So
Yeah.
you're contributing to the toxicity.
My point is that it's a really great thing to like anchor yourself around. You know what I mean? It's like
easy.
It's the easy way out. It's the easy way out. And like, I'm sure this person doesn't objectively know the value of the feature strength. Like even AJ in the MLA said he doesn't really think they're that impactful. He says they're relevant, but he's like, I don't really think they're that impactful. And that's coming from a challenger player, right? So you've got, Jim Bob or Timmy here. I don't know what his rank is, but like my point is that there are very high level players that aren't overly valuing the feature strength. So my point is that we don't know how impactful it really is. It's just that it looks impactful. You get this fancy new boots, this thing comes up on your screen, whatever. I think there's a lot psychologically going on here that is, again, setting people off. So I don't disagree, but I don't think it's to that
extent.
That
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah, it's just also the fallacy where people remember the toxic things that happen to them more than they remember the neutral things.
Maybe that happened in the first game.
He's overemphasized the toxicity. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so reading some of the comments here, the top one with 1.3 thousand upvotes was both teams are going to invade. It will be comical. Blitzcrank 100% pick ban. We're getting Korean server level 1 all-ins every game now. Hype. Level 1 5v5 loser opens. We're in for a great meta in high elo.
I mean, on the Chinese server, they do level 1 fight every game. So
Top lane just fights level 1 and the loser just AFKs because he just got Omega F'd his team.
All right, then we move on to the other Reddit post.
These comments aren't giving me any value.
All right, next one here. So this guy, this was 8 hours ago. So this guy might have played a bit more on the actual patch. Again, if it was NA, he wouldn't have. NA, when we're recording this, NA started playing about literally 8 hours ago. So I've been addicted to League for 5 years now, and this patch finally helps me quit. See you later. I'm gone. Thank you, Riot. 2025 season, Noxus. The map's red. It's not happy place anymore.
Red equals bad.
Red equals bad. Okay, I added that part in, so let's get serious here and read this post. I've been actively playing the game for the past 5 years, starting out in Iron 4, finally reaching Diamond in 2023, and getting stuck there since as I couldn't improve further. But I still kept playing because of abundance of rewards the game offered, from the key fragments that I got from getting honored to the mastery chests from farming masteries and opening them to reroll skins and skin shards. That had me keep playing. Now, with the mastery chests being removed and hex chests remaining behind paywall, with ranked rewards being reduced to 1 victorious skin after 15 games, I finally realized I've been wasting my time and decided to quit the game for good, as there's really no more incentive to play. Climbing higher than Diamond is impossible for me because I don't have the skills necessary to do that, and there's no rewards left either. We talk about fixed mindset here, guys. This is the vibes I'm getting. This will also help out my wallet a bit, as I will no longer be buying four skins on average each year for my most played champions with RP each season, and no longer buying keys or chests depending on which I lacked to open chests after each season. This patch helped me quit for good. It was fun, but it took away too much time of my life, so it's time to move on. Intent of post is to address that now formerly fellow League of Legends players here on this subreddit and outside the community, I recommend you do the same thing. I give my thanks to all the enemies and teammates I've played with for the past 5 years for the fun times.
Mic drop.
What a fascinating...
Do people do
I
this?
didn't even know people played the game for this.
People play the game for the rewards?
Yeah, for this...
Well, so
is crazy.
I think this is... Like, okay, I wouldn't be reading this or brought this if this had 10 upvotes.
How many
but this has
upvotes?
1.3 thousand and 600 comments.
This here is such a... This is such like a... I feel like it can't be real. Like, I feel like it can't be real.
This is not the League of Legends player that I see every day.
No, not at all.
No.
And like, what's weird is that if you've been playing the game for key fragments and mastery chests, what the fuck were you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
What?
Like, why were you? How can this be the reason you're quitting? Like, the fact that you're blaming.
It's nothing to do with the patch.
It's nothing
right?
to do with the patch.
So did they remove the chests this patch? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's behind a paywall now or something. I didn't
It's
even
buy
know
chests
that.
and you always to buy them?
No,
I mean, you get them
don't-
randomly sometimes, right?
Not anymore. I don't think
You have
don't
to
get
use
it
RP,
anymore.
right? Is that what it is?
Something like that.
What the hell?
So my point is that, like, I feel like people are using, like, there's a lot of posts here that are like using this patch as an excuse to, like, I don't even know what this is. I don't even know. I'm actually speechless. It's like,
Well, I think it's simple. I think this guy's realized that the game actually isn't for him. Like if you have no intention to improve at League anymore, I think League is we've said that. It's quite miserable experience. It's a competitive game. People are getting better around you. They want to beat you. It's competitive. I think that if people, again, I don't want to just, be in our little bubble of broken by concepts, but this is not actually how I view League players to even think or play the game in 5 years. I generally don't think this is who this type of person. League is not for them in the first place.
Yeah. They should have quit ages
Yeah,
ago.
and this is great. I think getting out these type of more casual players is actually fantastic for the game.
There are other games in the world where you can, like, get loot and stuff, right?
Play MMOs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that, Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting post.
Oh, okay. Someone here, 600 upvotes. Okay, so we aren't crazy here, guys. If you play League for rewards outside the actual match, then that's wild.
Yeah.
It is absolutely wild. I want to say one thing though, and look, I think it's a bit of a weird post, Nathan. But if you go up to there's one sentence here that it says, "Climbing higher than Diamond is impossible for me because I don't have skills necessary to do that."
Yeah, that's tip.
That is why that is the beginning of the end. If you ever start hearing yourself saying things like that, it's impossible for me to improve at the game. I can't physically get past this rank. I'm genetically.
I don't have the genetics.
I don't have the genetics. It's done.
No, he gets to 99 LP in Diamond 1 and he physically can't reach for Q up. He can't do it.
He can't do it. It's done. And so League isn't for you. And this is the thing. League is the best game in the world at basically exposing your fixed mindset.
Yeah.
Punishing you for a fixed mindset.
Yep.
And League will be the least fun game and it will be one of the most miserable experiences you will ever have playing League if you have that mindset. So I hope he moves on to a game that can help him develop a growth mindset, but maybe it's nothing to do with the patch.
Maybe gaming's not for him. If he's viewing gaming like it's just going to collect some resources like Farmville or something, then he's probably going to get that somewhere else in their life, right?
You're talking about competitive gaming, right? It's competitive gaming is not for him.
Moving on.
All right, this next one here, now going back into the game. This one had 750 upvotes. The roses need to go immediately. And we spell immediately in an interesting way.
He angrily started it out.
There's no even caps or formatting. It's just straight I, lowercase I. Yeah. I mean, sure, it's been a day only of new season. Actually, it hasn't even been a day. 16 hours ago, he's lying. It hasn't even been a day when he posted this. But man, if this isn't the most boring form of power creep I've ever seen, both teams just kind of getting 30 AP AD and a full level worth of experience basically passively is just one of the most stupid and boring changes they ever did.
I think they could get nerfed a bit, sure. I think it's fine.
Yep. I don't know if they fully need to go, but I think they can be
I think one cool thing is when the rose spawns in lane and you kind of fight over it a bit. I think that's a fun mechanic around the roses.
You know, my first game I played, there was a rose spawn under me and I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
And the enemy
either.
walked up and got it.
In your face. That's so good. Yeah.
I'm like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it was just part of the decoration of the map because it's all red for the first couple of games.
Yeah, you kind of can't see them very well, right?
No.
Especially because it's all red. Everything's red.
That's actually an interesting tangent I have, like, by the way. So I'm red-green colorblind, right? And sometimes I can't see stuff. Like, I saw a Yasuo in a game with, like, the Blood Moon Yasuo skin, and he had the tornado, and he's on the red map with the red tornado around his character, and I genuinely couldn't see it.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know if they need to do something about that or if there's, like, a setting, but that was a bit strange, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah, so things need to be toned down a little bit. I think that's really it.
Yep.
All right, moving now onto our Skool community. If you want to join our Skool community, it is free. There's a link in our YouTube description. This one here came from Ward Smets. Champ Mastery versus All Champ Knowledge. Hey guys, with Ludwig's recent climb to Platinum, I've been wondering about something. For people that don't know, Ludwig is a big YouTube content creator. We did a case study on him about a month ago, and he... quite inspirational journey. He just made it to Platinum by the end of the season. Like, literally, it took hours beforehand.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, movie scripts type thing.
He played like 60 games in like 2 days or something.
Yeah, he didn't sleep much.
It was crazy the amount of games he played.
And he had a bet with big streamers like Tyler One and stuff like that. And so he's cashed out. He's got so much money from this bet. So yeah. So we'll get back into the post here. I've only recently this summer started playing League, and one of the first things I noticed when playing was that playing against a champion of which you do not know what their abilities are can be next to impossible and quite infuriating. I thus wanted to play as many different champions as possible in normals as an attempt to try and learn them all before jumping into ranked and play with a 2-champion pool. It seems, however, that Ludwig has not done so and was still able to climb to quite a high rank. How do you guys currently learn about the different champions and their abilities in the game, and what methods would you recommend? Many thanks.
I was just going to say something. The reason I wanted this post to be covered here today is that Ludwig doesn't know what a lot of champs do. And I know that for a fact because if you look at Ludwig's gameplay, right? Ludwig, and we will do a bit of a follow-up with Ludwig, hopefully, and maybe get into this. But I've watched some of his gameplay. Ludwig plays jungle, okay? And if you look at the quality of his fighting and his skirmishing, it was very, very low level. And there were many scenarios where he was like, I remember I was watching a game where he was versing a volley bear. And he didn't know what Volibear did.
So he queued into an E.
Yeah, like,
combo,
and like Volibear would be healing and stuff. He's like,
He's biting him constantly,
yeah,
healing.
Yeah, and he's like, what the hell? This champ is nuts.
That's awesome. It wouldn't be if you didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
And so he does it. And so he's actually figuring it out along the way. And the reason he's able to bypass the factor and the reason he's able to climb is because he's a jungler and he's got very good at other skills. He's very good at saying no to fights. He's very good at clearing his camps. He's very good at prioritizing neutral objectives. He's very good at not wasting his R. He's very good at other things. He's playing a simple champion. He actually has a lot of missing knowledge that you wouldn't be able to get away with if you were playing a laner. Straight fact. There's no way that you would be a mid lane player,
At platinum level.
with that level of game knowledge that Ludwig has.
We have to know matchups, right?
You have to know matchups.
At
You have
least
to
what they do.
and you have to over-index in your skirmishing because you don't impact the game. You have to get. Obviously, laning is important, but then you have to rock up in fights and you got to pop off. As a jungler, as a Mumu, he's going in there, throwing his bandage shots left, right, and center, randomly hitting something, pressing R. He's having a decent amount of impact.
Yeah.
Regardless.
To get very granular about the specific champions he plays, a Mumu and Fiddlesticks.
And he had a negative win rate on Fiddle, and his only positive win rate was with the Mumu.
There you go. So a Mumu and Fiddle, the way they team fight, you don't actually you don't care what the other champions
It's
do.
about timing.
You get a big ulti, you engage at the right time on the right targets, and you will win the fight.
And he misses majority of his Qs.
Yeah, use R flash. Like
Yeah, either R flashes or what? I remember I watched one fight. He literally threw his Q in a random direction, and it randomly hit someone out of fog of war, and he got onto the Xerath. I was like, he doesn't. His fighting is like if I was compared to a mid laner, if that was a mid laner level, I would say that's probably bronze level skirmishing without exaggeration. Slow silver, bronze. I would say
That's what you've noticed.
that's what I've noticed in terms of his skirmishing level. But again, he's exceptional in other areas.
Yeah, because
like
jungle is a lot about what you don't do.
Then what you do.
And this game, the Volibear that he was versing was like super fed. Got all these early kills, like 6-0, whatever. He was the same level as Volley.
There you go.
Because he was just clearing camps.
And he was skipping his camps all the time.
exactly
And Volibear would have been going for low percentage plays.
And then all it took is Volibear to give a bouncy or two, and the game was just flipped. And that's how he wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how he wins in a nutshell. So the reality is that like the way Ludwig has done it, I would say is number one, not what I would recommend the average player to do, because I actually don't. I think it will bite him in the ass in the long run, in my opinion. I think it's good for short term, LP. I don't think it's actually good for long term, and it's only possible, in my opinion, as a jungler. I don't think it's possible. Maybe I don't know about. I can't comment about support, but I know for a fact it's not possible if you're going to play top, AD carry, and mid lane.
So I will. We still do need to give some credit. Like, he would have learnt. I have watched him, and he has talked about, oh, that's what that champ does. I need to do this. So he has picked up on things, and this is what we sort of talked about last episode. You can pick up, you don't have to play the champions. You can pick up so much in League from just playing against champions. I have not played more than one game on over half the roster of League of Legends champions, but I could tell you exactly everything. I have a feel of exactly everything they do, and I'm a high level player, right? So people need to wrap their head around that this exists. Observation, curiosity. We talked about this again.
Ludwig is so curious.
Yeah, last episode. Yeah,
that's one thing. Ludwig is so good. He's so poised. He's like, oh yeah, I fucked up here. Like his ego is completely like detached for the most part, and he's so open minded and curious. Like he learns very quickly.
Yes.
Like he's a very, very good gamer in that sense. Like his mentality is extremely impressive. And also, he played a lot of games. Right? He played a lot of games with coaching, with a curious mindset, with intensity. And that's what with champ mastery. That's why he got to his rank. So you don't need to play all champs. Do I think that the average player would benefit from doing a bit of a experimentation with a few champs here and there? Yes. But do you need to do it Ludwig's way? No. I think there's a middle ground there where you can do a mixture of both.
What I've heard from some of the members of AD Carry Academy is that everyone learns in different ways as well, right? Some people can play one ARAM of a champion and they just get it. But some champions are actually, they need a bit more, I've heard. Like Vladimir or Akali are a little bit more confusing than if you played one ARAM on Lux. If you put an ARAM on Lux, you're probably going to understand Lux.
it is. You're
if you
right.
play an ARAM of Vladimir, you might not even really get it, So I think like some of them might require a bit more like quote unquote study than just like having a crack on the champion. And some of them are way more intuitive.
I guess like big cooldowns like Vlad's W or even like LeBlanc's W. A lot of junglers just think that Fizz's E people think that these champions are not gankable because they have this ability and they don't think about the cooldown or
Whenever
the
this
resources.
comes up, I just the amount we take for granted that we just know as well about like feeling different cooldowns. Imagine how much data that is. Like it's so Ludwig played so many games and he didn't even know what the abilities did, let alone
crazy.
what the cooldowns
Cooldown.
were, how much damage they did, how they interact with items, how certain combos exist.
There's a lot of raw
There's
knowledge.
too much to learn.
It is. That's the problem that Rider having with League and newer player base.
And with this person asking, the true answer is, I don't believe there is a fast track. Like at the end of the day,
I don't think so
you are
either.
going to have to, like the
Yeah.
way we did it is not through jumping into the practice tool on every single champion and figuring out. We went to the hard yards. You just play a lot of games with
lot of
focus,
champs.
intensity, curiosity, and you just observe. Like you have to just go through it.
Well, I don't know about you, but I played a lot of champs. I did.
Yes,
play a lot
exactly.
Of
I
champs.
played all the roles in the game
Yeah.
as well.
I played all roles.
You
I played-
didn't.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I did play barely, and I played basically no roles and no champions.
But you play jungle.
But I play jungle.
Yeah.
So
There
Let's
you
that's
go.
what I'm saying. That's my whole
This
point.
is true. Yeah.
That's my
Interesting.
entire point. You
Yeah.
play jungle and,
when
you
I
get away with that.
and when I learned top lane, I was struggling
And
in
you struggle.
platinum and platinum
All right,
and
case
emerald.
closed.
it's case closed.
Jungle.
What is the case?
Jungle is a unique role,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so if you want to play a lane, you do have to play. You do, in my opinion, have to do quite a bit of champion cycling. You don't have to
Yeah.
play every champ in the game,
This is true.
but you have to champion cycle.
Yeah, because we have to live in the team fight, so we have to know what the threats are.
if I don't
it's
know
that
what a
simple-
Volibear does and I'm playing Orianna, I'm screwed.
You're screwed.
I'm
yeah.
screwed.
You're not going to know he has a jump or a stun
Exactly
or a
right.
shield or a heal. Yeah.
Or if you're playing a melee, you're playing and you don't know he heals.
Yeah. You got to commit on situations where you otherwise would die.
Exactly.
Like
Right.
think about how a jungler can be out of control in a game. All it takes, right, in terms of like just execution. You can full clear and you can gank bot and you can get 1 kill or a double kill, and then you can recall and you have think about to get that same advantage of experience
In-
and gold
in a
in
solo
any
lane.
in a solo lane. You have to sweat on trades. You have to think about the jungler. You have
Spacing,
to
perfect
spacing.
resets,
You have
wave
to-
management.
Banner
to
rationing.
get the same advantage.
And you won't
as
even
that.
won't even be the same.
Yeah, won't even be the same.
No, because the enemy just can just TP back.
And
all
then you
the
can do a
time.
second full cat and you're out of control, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the enemy jungler probably 3-camp ganked.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And you're massively ahead of your component
Yep.
as well, right? So yeah, there you go, guys. It's said, been and done. Jungle is the easiest role in League of Legends.
Yep.
All right, mailbag time, guys. Away we go. Welcome back for Nathan's mailbag. Jingle, jingle, jingle song. Alrighty then. Our first question here comes from Hashir. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. How to deal with imposter syndrome. Hey there. My in-game name that I go by is Closure. I started playing in LoL in Season 10, playing mainly top and mid lane, since my duo buddy friend would play ADC. I was always a long-term Dota 2 player, but picked up LoL because everyone else in my school who played MOBAs played LoL. I hit Platinum 4 quite easily by the end of Season 10 after about 600 games. I did not play a lot of heroes and stuck mainly to a few core ones, notably Renekton and Ryze mid. Once school finished and college began, my friends went to different colleges, so I stopped playing LoL during Season 12 and Season 13 and got back into Dota 2. During these 2 years, I was obsessed with the complexity of the game and learned everything I could and to hit the top 0.5% of players. Now back to LoL. In the last 2 months, I decided to go back into the game playing ADC for the first time ever after falling in love with the role. And after roughly 300 games playing mainly Caitlyn and Kai'Sa on an account I bought from eBay, I went from Bronze 3-0 LP all the way to Diamond 3-0 LP, the top 1.3% of players. In the roughly 300 games I played, I have a 62% win rate. In my last 20 games, I have a 75% win rate. In my last 80, I believe it's 65%. If I had more time, I'm certain I could have reached a higher rank. But here's where my issues start. I pretty much only watched 1 2-hour guide for Caitlyn and another 2-hour guide for Kai'Sa, then just played a boatload of games. He said butt ton of games. And then,
A butt ton. You haven't heard that?
I also watched a few guides here and there on basic wave management, but nothing else. And here is where the imposter syndrome kicks in. Recently, it feels like every game I win, I'm getting carried by an amazing support who wins lane for me solo, or a support who roams and win all my other lanes for me. It feels like I just don't have any knowledge about the game itself apart from the guides I watch for Caitlyn and Kai'Sa. Sure, I have a ridiculous win rate in my last 80 games, but my KDAs are horrible. And even in winning games, I almost get 5th or 6th on APGG. And I feel like a fraud who doesn't deserve my rank and just got lucky. How do I get over this imposter syndrome?
Look, I mean, if he played that many games and he watched guides and he's got a gaming history, this makes sense. Like, he's actually put in the hard work. He shouldn't say, I just watched a couple of hours of content. Like, that's great. You watch some content, you get some ideas, and you've played a lot of games. And you've got such a great gaming background that this is intuitive. And in terms of, like, these 5th, 6th placements on OPGG, means absolutely nothing. And from my experience as well, it's very hard for an 80 carry to get a high score on OPGG.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy for junglers. I feel like I can easily
Again, back to the jungle.
Jungle's the best role in the game, right? Let's go.
I was just going to say, like...
well done as well, by the way. That's insane.
It's incredibly impressive. But what I will say, like, a lot of these players, they downplay all the small things that they're doing.
Yep.
So, for example, let's say their support is roaming on the other side of the map. Maybe because he's played MOBAs before, he intuitively understands that he has to play safe because his support's not there.
Numbers advantages.
And he just doesn't die bot. Maybe he backs off, leaves the tower or whatever, and then he views that as like he's not doing anything special, but you are. That is what's differentiating you from maybe potentially other 80 carries. Maybe they would have tried to defend the tower and get dove and died. So like what I've noticed in League, the player base at large really struggles at understanding all of the small things that they do that are contributing to wins. They view the game through this lens of, okay, there's these big 3 events, boom, 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 and if I pop off in these moments, then I deserve the LP, and if I play poorly in these moments, then I don't deserve the LP. But what about all the small things? And maybe he's resetting well. Maybe he's placing his traps really effectively in lane. He's probably doing all these things that he's just taking for granted because he's got a sophisticated gaming background, and again, he can't see that because he's a pretty hardcore long-term gamer that has a lot of experience in games.
Even the mental side of things. Like, people sabotage mentally in the game all the time. From what he said and looking at his games, like, he doesn't look like he gives up or tilts really at all, dude.
Yeah, the fact that he's literally
always trying.
Playing to win every game.
Yeah. That's massive.
And that's, again, tying back to Ludwig. I think Ludwig does that, and that's a differentiating factor. Like, all this shit is going on. He's, like, getting flamed by everyone. He just mutes them and, like, keeps on playing, and he's, like, just, having the time of his life. And, like, he wins games because of that. Because he's not losing his mind. He's not making the best plays, but he's not making the worst plays. He's not losing the game
or
for his
just
team.
giving up.
Not exactly. And so I think, yeah, you're spot on. That's probably an element here as well. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, as you play more of League, this is what I tell people. You won't fully understand when you're newer to the League journey why you're at your rank. It won't be until maybe a year later, 2 years later, you'll be able to reflect back and you'll be like, you know what, that season actually does make sense why I was a diamond player versus a master, or it does make sense why I was in plat versus this rank. You just don't have the knowledge yet to comprehend the underlying skills that allow you to understand that.
Yeah, because when you're in the moment, all you can do is trust that it's happening for a reason.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have faith in the system, trust the process, all that stuff we always talk about. Because if you believe it's fraudulent, that actually means that you don't trust that playing well equals winning.
Yeah.
You have to playing well equals winning over long run.
But his definition of playing well is tied to stats, so he doesn't think he is playing well.
Yeah, so you just have to throw that out the window and trust that you're doing something right because you're winning.
People again
you don't
think
have to
the stats.
understand it yet. You will over time.
No, that's why I say trust. You don't have to understand it. You just have to trust
and
it.
be curious.
Yeah.
And be curious.
Also, if he's winning that many games that recently, he's doing a lot right. Not just a few things.
A lot.
A lot of things right.
All right. Our next question here comes from Lera. The title of his email is from a hopeless Iron 4 player. Dear Curtis, Nathan, and Charlie. Happy New Year. I've finally mustered up the courage to write to you guys. I've been listening to the BBC podcast since its inception, originally a Coach Curtis fan, but never felt like I had anything worthwhile to write about since I was a new player at the time and thought I'd naturally improve as time went by. However, now that some time has gone by and rather than improve, I actually regress. I thought I'd write to you and see what you think is my problem, because I'm generally lost at this point. Here's my background. I'm a girl who started playing League when I moved to South Korea in 2020. League culture is very big in Korea, here obviously, and quite contagious. I had never played a MOBA before and hadn't played my PC game since I was a kid. And that was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I mostly just played ARAMs and TFT, but was way too scared of the Summoner's Rift. However, I'm very competitive and usually improve and learn fast. Whatever I pursued, I was always either the best or very good at it, be it studying, sports, or learning languages. So finally, I decided to try ranked and placed in bronze. For the next two years, I was floating in bronze and silver, playing Enchanter supports or Heimer mid. I was recommended to play Enchanters by friends because it was the easiest way to learn. But looking back, I think I developed some bad habits because of that. Never solidified any champion pool and was trying to figure out what I liked. Cycling through champions and roles. I always wanted to be an ADC. I like the design and look of champions like Jhin, Xayah, and Ezreal, but because I learned the game playing Enchanters, I was horrendous at last hitting and played like a chicken. So after trying out ADC and getting flamed into oblivion, I just stuck to support and mid. I played until 2022 and took a year break because I had kids and just couldn't dedicate the time to focus on ranked. I did play TFT on and off with baby in one hand and mouse in the other and was consistently reaching master or high diamond. Now, however, I've established a routine in my day and actually have a free slot in the evening for a few games. So I decided to return and try again at the end of Split 3 in 2024. I also decided to try learning ADC this time. I like Jhin, so I play only him as much as possible and not fall back on just playing support and hoping my teammates carry me, which I confess was partially my strategy in the past. I want to prove to myself that I can learn and climb. Well, so far it's been complete opposite. It's currently the end of Split 3 Season 14 and I'm Iron 4. I must say the humiliation is real. In the past, studying always worked for me, yielding almost instant massive results. But with League, it's just not working. No matter how many videos I watch or how many guides I read or how many VODs I reviewed or how many normals I play, I just don't improve. I learn something useful, say got it, then get into a game and completely bomb it. I'm in the 99.98th percentile in Korea, which in itself is mind-blowing. Given the sheer size of the player base here, I'm laughing in embarrassment as I'm writing this, but part of me is wondering if I just should accept the fact that I suck at League and no amount of studying or practicing will change that. For the record, I don't think I have stage 4 issues. I have a happy family and other priorities. League is a hobby that I enjoy, but I'm not using it to cope with or compensate for anything in my life, although I do lack sleep because of baby number 2. Here's my OBGG. It's all over the place, but that just reflects how lost I am. I don't know if you would have any real advice for someone like me, or if you would agree that I'm lost and just not talented at gaming, that I should just play for fun and try not to climb. Thanks for reading my long email, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Best wishes, Lera. The OBGG does not exist.
You got to change the region. So it says it's OSA.
I see.
So there's actually someone in my program who's in a kind of similar situation. They're a mother, and why doesn't it work? Maybe they changed their name.
Okay.
And they're also kind of in a similar boat, similar as Unity.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think she's Iron 4 as well. And she frequently writes like, I feel really beat down. I'm putting in all this effort. She's getting in reps. She's like champion cycling, getting good rep, and she's still struggling. And yeah, so I guess I'll start there. Like, League is a very, very hard game, and I do think that certain people struggle with the game more than others, maybe because they haven't had that familiarity with playing fast-paced kind of online games.
So for more background here, I'd never played a MOBA before and hadn't played any PC game since I was a kid. And that was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So she's probably like 40 plus,
yeah,
right?
So this is
when did she come back to the game? Was it just made one split? Is that correct? It sounds like she's played one split of Summoner's Rift.
I think it was like 2020.
No, she said she was playing TFT and ARAMs, and then she played Summoner's Rift for one split.
Okay.
So I think that's important context.
I played until 2022. So she was 2020, I think, started playing League. Played until 2022.
But yeah, there was ARAMs.
And then I took a year break because I had thing, and that's when she
okay,
died.
So you're right. It might have only been like 1 year of actual like...
Even less. I think a third of a year.
Which is not much time.
Not much.
Nothing.
So I said this to Sonia as well. I said, like, which is Unity. She, you haven't played a ton of the game. Yeah, you're getting in repetitions now, but in the grand scheme of things, you're only now just starting to get into the repetitions, and it will take time to click. And I think that I don't believe in this whole thing that like some people can't climb. I just think it takes longer for some people.
Yep.
And I think if I was in, giving, was it Lera, advice to her, it's just going to take time. You need to just chip away, manage your expectations. If it takes you 3 months to go from Iron 4 to Iron 3, so be it. As long as you're having fun, you're doing it playing champions, you somewhat enjoy it. As long as they're simple, you got to find that balance between playing champs that are simple, clear reference points, but also you don't hate. So you got to find that middle ground.
I think Jin's great, by the way. Keep playing Jin.
Yep, Jin's great.
I think that this mindset, you can't study your way out of Iron 4.
Agreed.
You can't study your way out of Iron. You can't study your way out of low bronze, I would say. After that, some of the things can be helpful, but learning how to fight champ mastery, we've got a support background, which really is not going to really help.
She's actually done the worst possible thing,
correct,
by the way.
yes.
The fact that you started playing like enchanter supports.
Yep.
So what you're
and
doing,
the
you're not starting
mindset
at
to
zero.
be carried, like think about all like the gaming mindset, and a lot of people come to play. You're playing the game to like, I want to carry, I want to win, I want to take responsibility. That's how we all play the game. So starting the game like that, plus support, plus no PC gaming background, plus not
Plus
having
being
such time.
sleep deprived.
Yeah, like this entire combination,
it's just
and
the
not playing the
worst.
games. You are going to be. That's what an Iron 4 player is. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, this is why women get a lot of flack is sometimes as well, is because they do start the game this way, playing enchanters and having like a poor relationship with golden experience because you don't know what it feels like to get
Doing
a lot of gold,
damage and killing
carry
people.
games. Yeah, I got to have a healthy ego, So yeah, I think that, like Curtis said, you can do it. It will just take time. And assume you're starting from square one. Don't watch any content is what I would say, because the content is going to do more harm than good the most of the time. You need to learn what it feels like to kill enemy champions and win games. So like, take it back to bots.
Yes.
Stomp bot games. When you can stomp bot games, stomp the intermediate bots. Literally go step by step from bots to normals to ranked. You're too early for ranked at this point. Get very comfortable CSing. You need to be comfortable CSing most of the minions. So don't play ranked if you can't CS at this point. And then when you've got a baseline of killing champions and hitting minions, then go into ranked.
Do
and start
bots
that journey.
like do the customs where your bots on your team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
versus yes, exactly.
It's like bots on your team versus bots, not
Yeah.
just like a normal way you got. That's where you would level up. So you'd go
Yes.
bots on your team, full bots on the enemy team, beginner bots, move into intermediate bots, then queue up with other people bots.
Yep.
Then do normal games, then do ranked.
Yep.
And like really feel what it's like to get fed, and what it sounds like. It sounds like we don't know like what field she works in, but just like the vibe I'm getting, she's like a very like high functioning individual that's thinking a lot, logical,
thinks too much. And
League is a game
intelligent,
very intelligent. And you
Well,
got
to TFT again, just gets the high diamond, dude. I play TFT, dude. I struggle in that game, dude.
Yep.
And you just got to feel. This is one of those games where you got to stop thinking and start feeling.
Execution.
And just like fuck around. That's it. Fuck around and find out. That's your mindset. And just go out there, do a bunch of damage, and dodge. And at the end of the day, this is what I always tell people. The game of League forces you to deal damage and avoid damage. That should be mindset. How do I deal as much damage as possible while avoiding damage?
Because that's the players you're losing to, Lera. You're losing to players that simply know a bit more about damage profiles than you. You're not losing to players that have a sophisticated understanding of how to win or lose a game. Your games are probably going 40 minutes. It's about team fights. It's about dealing damage.
Exactly right. And that's what bots will teach you, actually.
Yes, it actually is, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with bots. I did bots.
Yep.
A lot of bot games. Bots is a really great way to feel out what it's like to get fed.
I think they've improved the bots a lot as well, haven't they? They've made the bots quite
including AI.
I don't even know what was season 2 bots like, Curtis.
Well, I remember vividly the only thing I'll say about it, there was a cheat. I remember in bots, if you come out of base level 1, you could put a ward between the tier 1, tier 2 tower, pull the bot into the jungle, get first blood.
No.
And then I'd snowball like crazy.
Wow, that's so good.
That's what you did. You were happy doing
I was trying to go like 20-0.
Trying to get like a tactical nuke.
I was trying to get like pentakill and stuff. I was trying to like win the game as fast as humanly possible.
So it was like a challenge. You're trying to speed run.
trying to speed run.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting. All right, that's it for the mailbag. Did you have anything to end us the podcast, Charles?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm looking at Charles. Charles is like,
Charles ready. He's
no,
he's
not ready.
No, I forgot.
I'm like, what are you looking at?
I want to preface this by saying, it's been brought to our attention from our communities that we started posting on Instagram, and there's a lot of people that don't really get the message that we're trying to get across. We get a lot of hate. The Broken by Concept podcast, it's a very divided community. There's people that get it and they love it and they get a lot of value from it, and there's people that think we're completely
Some of the
delusional.
dumbest people on planet
So,
Earth.
but yeah, they think we're literally the dumbest people on planet Earth. They have no.
They generally think it's like, are these guys bronze? Are these
They
guys
genuinely
silver?
think
Yeah.
we're out there like completely sabotaging the community.
Yep.
And I think Charlie fuels Charlie, as in like Charlie wants to lean into that. He wants to, basically bait people in,
Get people talking.
get people talking, get people angry.
You're building this up now. But it's true because I see on all of the shorts, specifically shorts from the 80 carry episode we did, they have hundreds of thousands of views and the comments are crazy. No one likes what I have to say about Draven. So I'm going to give you more stuff that you won't like what I have to say. So here we go. So people always talk about like being a team player. And I'm going to talk about competitive League of Legends for a second here in like a negative way.
Okay.
So brace if you play any team stuff. People think that like teamwork and alignment and communication and like strategy overcomes individual play, right? They think I'm like a ranked 5 Slayer kind of mindset, right? I think, and I don't even think this is controversial, but I think other people might, a team of 5 master tier players on their like main champions who've never met each other before, who actually dislike each other, maybe, will beat a team of diamond players who have scrimmed for a year, like 80 out of 100 games, like 80% win rate.
Let's say if you saying Diamond 4? Yeah, Diamond what?
Yeah, low diamond.
Like Diamond 1.
Diamond 4, Diamond 3.
Diamond 1, probably not.
No,
Yeah.
Diamond 4, Diamond 3 to like Master 200 LP. Not even High Master. Master 200
Low
LP.
master.
I think that is the difference.
No, 100%. 100% agree. I've said that we spoke. I remember when we said that to Gamer Dad, it blew his mind.
Yeah.
The Gamer Dad, he was like, he literally asked that question. Or no, actually, he didn't even ask the question. He just assumed. He just straight up assumed that like if you like sit there like with the team, have a coach, have all this strategy and stuff like that, like a team of platinum players can like can beat who are really coordinated, can beat
No comms either. No comms to the
Master
Master
tier.
tier.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what we said. We said the Master tier team never play with each other. No comms would obliterate a platinum fully coordinated team. And yeah,
I think low diamond.
Diamond 4.
Diamond 4.
Yeah, Diamond 4. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Diamond 4 to Master is a huge skill
Gigantic.
gap.
They're gonna get gapped.
People don't realize that, by the
No,
way.
like, yeah, I mean, I play it generally like a low mid master level. And if I was a diamond 480 carry, like, they're not even going to make it to mid game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, even jungle as well.
and there's
yeah.
nothing, no comms or coordination or strategy or team comp or anything is going to overcome that.
No.
So, just want to throw that out there. Maybe annoy some people. Maybe not. Maybe everyone understands that, but we'll test the waters.
No, I think that's a very, it's a foreign concept to what people think League, the game, is. It's sort of like, again, brings back to that Reddit post. It's like people who, play the game for the rewards and stuff. It's like people are just a bit confused. League, people, I say this all the time. League is still in its early days. People think it's a mature veteran game, and it is in terms of the industry, but people's perception of the game, if League keeps sticking around, is going to be wildly different in 10 years. The whole attitude when people talk about their friends, it's like, oh, you play League? It's like, well, dude, that's like some serious stuff, Like, if you're dumb, you're like really, 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 really good, Like, it's going to be so competitive by that point. All right. Well, that's our thoughts for our first day. Our 38 games? 34 games.
Did you do the math right, by the way? I'm not confident.
I actually don't. I think 38.
So what did you play?
16.
And I did 11 and you did 11. So
So
it's 30. You
it's
said
38.
you said 34 in the intro.
Did I really?
You did.
It's fine.
Oh, God damn it.
It's out of his control now.
Yep. Impossible to
It's on
improve.
camera.
Lock it in, Eddie.
Good work, guys. Let's keep on improving. And we'll see you guys in the Noxus Rift.